Okay, this is literally my second time skating ever in my life, and I'm already good enough to skate with a camera in my hands. More Death 13 rocks! Hey guys, M13 here. Long time no talk. Yeah, I'm just busy, and if I only have the time to upload to one place, it'll be my Patreon. I apologize for that, but I don't know. If you actually, yeah. Where am I going here? What? I don't get this. So, it's rush hour traffic on a Monday morning, and this is totally a dead end. I'm trying to figure out how to get. And yeah, traffic's crazy. It's funny. I might have mentioned this before. I might have mentioned everything before. One of the things I've talked about in the past is how I've noticed that Taiwanese drivers and riders have just constantly improved over the years. Everything seems to be getting better. Like, yeah. And because when I first moved here, it was so crazy riding here. Honest, like, no word of lie, no exaggeration. I remember the very first day that I rode a motorcycle in Taiwan, or scooter, and I would ride for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, and then I would pull over to the side of the road and sit for 3 or 4 minutes trying to get my breathing and heart back under control, which is insane because I've had people with zero riding experience, never ridden a motorcycle. I had one guy who not only, he didn't have a license, he'd never ridden a motorcycle, he'd never driven a car, came out to do my tour. I put him on a motorcycle, and then we did 2,000 kilometers on it in Taiwan. How crazy is that? He had one minor accident near the beginning, and then for the next 9 days in a row, no problems. Actually, and the crazy thing was, by the end of the 11-day tour, he was, I would say, quicker than me. Like, I couldn't keep up with him, and I've got years and years of experience. But the reason is because it was such an extreme crash course, no pun intended, in riding. And we were doing nothing but twisty roads and nothing but high speeds, that we worked our way up to it gradually, that by the end of the tour, he was just so comfortable riding extreme twisty roads at high rates of speed. He was so comfortable with it because that's all he'd been doing since the beginning of riding. And we'd been doing it nonstop for days. Yeah, so by the end of it, he was just flying. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And it's really interesting to think about as a teacher and as a motorcycle rider, that in 10 days I could teach you how to be a better rider than me, and I have roughly 30 years of riding experience, and I'm fast, like, I'm fast on the street, and I'm fast on a racing course, on a racetrack. I'm not very fast on a racetrack, but I can hold my own. I can, I've never done a race day, but on practice days, I've done lap speeds that are comparable with race laps. So, in my mind, okay, I'm going around this racetrack at the same speed as the people who actually race. That's good enough for me. I would just never race because I'm too insecure when it comes to a group of motorcycles all doing the same high speed as me and all being an inch away from me. That's the part that makes me scared. You put me on a racetrack by myself, yeah, maybe in theory with time I could like break the lap record, but even then I still wouldn't be able to race with others. And again, that comes down to life experience, because since the beginning of my riding times, since the beginning of my life experience as a rider, I've always been solo. Whenever you put me in a group, like on the road with a group of people or in the mountains with a group of people, I'm always pulling away from them. I'm always passing everyone. I'm always kind of like riding by myself. And on the odd chance there's some guy in the group that like catches up with me or is as quick or quicker than me, then I would back off and let him go in front. And then I would like follow his line and see if I could catch up to him again. And if I were able to catch up to him, but just barely, then what I would do is back off again and give him some space and then follow him again. Because it's dangerous when you're on the street to be very close to someone, because what happens if they emergency brake or swerve to miss a pothole or whatever. So, you know, my years and years and years of riding experience, I have it ingrained in my brain to not ride close to another person for longer than a fraction of a second. Like for longer than it takes for you to pass them or to brake and slow down and let them by. Yeah, actually I've never really analyzed why I'm so unable to race in a group, but that's the reason why. It's also the same reason it's also the same line of logic as to why I can't ride a dirt bike. Because I have so many years of experience on a street bike that when you, and so many, like literally over like 1 million miles of riding on street bikes and racing bikes, that when you put me on a dirt bike, they handle very differently. On a dirt bike, it's kind of normal for your front tire to slide around, and that's something you don't experience on a motorcycle, other than when you're crashing. That'd be the only time you would experience your front tire sliding around. But on a dirt bike, it's normal. Like when you're riding on sand or whatever, your front tire, it moves around, and that's just. So you put me on a dirt bike, and every fiber of my being, every time the front tire slides, is like, you're gonna crash, and you're not gonna. But it would take me a long time to retrain my subconscious and my muscle memory to somehow be okay with the front tire sliding all over. So it was. I had a topic in mind. The topic I had in mind was. It's amazing. Like the topic I had in mind was, oh, that guy's an idiot. What a piece of shit. I was moving over to pass this car, and that guy flew by me. That was the closest I've had to a crash in a couple years, I'd say. Because if I just moved over a tiny bit more aggressively, we would have made contact. And if I were him, I don't have a problem with him going quick. But if I were him, I would have seen me, and I would have seen, okay, this guy's behind a car, so he's obviously going to move into my line. And that's what I was doing. There was a car blocking me, so I was moving back into the right. And he somehow didn't predict that and adapt for it. Like, he doesn't have the enough motorcycle experience to be riding as quick as he was, because he didn't predict the fact that I was turning into him. This is the same guy. I'm hoping he's on the same road as me. No, he's not. Yeah, and that's another thing too. It really takes experience, you know. You need to be able to. I've said this before.